Welcome to Fables and Fun. From reimagined myths to side-splitting anecdotes and quotable gems, we're serving up ancient wisdom with a modern twist. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe even question everything you thought you knew about reality and yourself.
Ah, my dear friends, but you must hear this tale as it was told to us by the inimitable Peter Afanasyevich, a master of the storyteller's craft. On a night when we were gathered around the firelight in our humble backyard, he regaled us with the following parable. The parable of the wise and the witless. In a remote corner of creation dwelt a race of enlightened beings. They had cultivated a small yet splendid civilization, founded on the bedrock of common sense and divine laws. These creatures were kind, joyous, humble, and deeply respectful of their Father's gifts. Treating Mother Earth and each other with tender reverence, they reaped prosperity and contentment in return. Greed, pride, envy, and deceit were alien concepts to them, and they lived with a profound sense of responsibility. Suffering and illness were strangers in their land. But fate, that capricious playwright, decided to introduce a plot twist. One day, a ship laden with idiots, emissaries from another civilization in a different part of creation, washed up on their shores. Unlike our enlightened friends, these newcomers were cocksure of their superiority, their very essence reeking of avarice and vice. Their breath was as noxious as their intentions. Oh, and they had rifles. The enlightened beings welcomed the arrivals with warmth and generosity, eager to explore a different culture and worldview. Alas, the idiotic interlopers had nothing to show, for their lexicon lacked even the concept of worldview. Their values, if one could call them that, were limited to carnal pleasures, greed, and harmful habits. In short, their interests extended no further than women and gold. Alas, the dimwits had all the cultural sensitivity of a bull in a china shop. If the bull were also blindfolded and riding a unicycle, they saw the luminaries' kindness as weakness, their wisdom as naivety. The dimwits set about doing what they did best, destroying everything they couldn't understand, which was pretty much everything. The newcomers, their eyes glazed with avarice, ransacked every corner of this paradise. They tore golden fruits from trees that had never known violence, their greedy hands leaving gouges in bark that had only ever felt loving caresses. They upturned sacred stones in search of non-existent treasures, desecrating ancient gathering places with their ignorant fumbling. The tale that unfolded was as old as time itself. The rifle-wielding fools, drunk on their own delusions of grandeur, laid waste to the paradise they'd stumbled upon. They planted flags of conquest in soil that had never known ownership, erected monuments to their own stupidity, and generally made a mess of things. With a cold efficiency that belied their usual bumbling, the idiots turned their weapons upon the defenseless enlightened ones. Families who had lived in peace for countless generations were torn apart in an eye blink of senseless violence. Elders, whose minds held the wisdom of ages, fell silent forever, their vast libraries of knowledge lost in an instant. Children, who had never known fear, learned its bitter taste as they fled from the sound of gunfire. The enlightened race was plundered, defiled, and ultimately decimated. Yet not all perished. A fraction of these beings retreated to the inaccessible mountain regions of the continent. From these lofty perches, they observe to this day how the once-arrived idiots construct cities drowning in pointless avarice, shamelessly oppressing Mother Nature, robbing and murdering each other for want of other victims, only to die painfully from ennui and their pernicious habits. In other words, living their useless lives, loudly, badly, and with an unshakable belief in their own brilliance. Pyotr Afanasyevich paused, then added thoughtfully, "I wonder, why does the rifle always end up in the hands of the idiot? What do you think? Now, dear reader, let us ponder this tale. Is it not a mirror held up to our own world, reflecting the eternal struggle between wisdom and folly? And what of Pyotr's final question? A rhetorical hand grenade tossed into the calm pond of our minds? Perhaps we might counter with another question. In a world where the wise retreat and the foolish advance, who truly wins? Or as our French friends might say, dans le royaume des aveugles, les borgnes sont rois. In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. What are your thoughts on this parable, my astute interlocutor? Does it strike a chord in the symphony of your worldview? Or does it prompt you to reach for your metaphorical rifle? Do share your musings. After all, as Socrates wisely noted, I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. Stay tuned for more Fables and Fun, where we drag ancient stories, kicking and screaming, into the 21st century.